Our wildlife pond with a built-in hibernaculum by UK Amphibians and All Things Wildlife. Part 32. Our wildlife pond tour in summer of 2023. It's the 17th of June 2023. Wildflower pond tour. And today we spot one of our little baby frogs that has come out of the pond as a tadpole and morphed into a tiny baby frog. Here's a slow motion view of the frog hopping around the garden. Hopefully, if he's lucky enough, he will start to feed on tiny insects, things like springtails, small baby woodlice, tiny worms and things like that to survive. It's the 18th of June 2023. The temperature outside is 13 degrees and it's quite rainy today. Looks like a storm is on the horizon, but the pond is looking nice with the flowers around the edge of the pond and our design with the wood effect around the edge of the pond looks really nice now. Probably with the heavy rain today, the amphibians will be hiding away, but just take a look at our lovely wildflower garden. The white flowers that you can see there are oxeye daisy flowers. This is our old pond you're looking at. This is what we had designed before we built our large pond with the hibernaculum. The small pond does have a hibernaculum built in with it too. Just look how stunning the wildflower plants are in the garden. The red plant is Red Valerian. We have some more oxeye daisy plants in between there. The yellow flower in the distance is yellow loosestrife. The yellow flowers around the edge of the pond is monkey musk. This is a really lovely time of the year for the wildflowers to start flowering. So as we take you around the garden and the wildlife pond, we want to show you as well our wildflower pond tour. So not only do we show you our pond and a tour around the pond, we're going to show you our wildflowers around the garden too. Let us know what you think in the comments. This is our view from inside the house. I often sit here with a cuppa on rainy days like this, just watching to see what I can spot in the garden. And normally, most of the time, I see plenty of amphibians swimming in the pond, birds, bees. Obviously not when it's raining. You don't tend to see, obviously, the bees and butterflies. But sometimes I'll sit here on a sunny day too and watch out for them. After having a lovely cup of coffee inside the house, the rain slowed down, so we're back out to have a look round the garden, at the wildflowers in the garden and our wildflower pond tour as well. Looking in the pond, the lilies are looking nice. You can see plenty of yellow flowers. These are the monkey musk flowers. The tall white flowers with yellow are the oxeye daisy flowers. With the lovely rain today, I don't need to water the plants, which is a good thing, because that's already done for me. The red campion plant still has some flowers on it, and there's some seed heads there that we've just passed as well. Our dragonfly perch is looking really good. I've also put another wooden branch into the pond. This is for the dragonflies to lay their eggs on, and then obviously the larvae can hatch out into the pond. The plant there is a purple loosestrife plant that's starting to grow up, and once it flowers it's a lovely purple flower, which is beautiful. The red campion plant still flowering here. The yellow flowers are monkey musk. And here we take you around the garden on our wildflower pond tour to see plenty of wildflowers. Wildflowers here are the oxeye daisy flowers, which are a wildflower. The purple plant in the distance was purple toadflax plant. Here we have growing up is some knapweed, which is a lovely purple flower too, and the bees love this one. The oxeye daisy flowers really attract plenty of insects, which is brilliant for the garden and a great food source for many things around the garden, like all the amphibians. The red plant we've just gone past is Red Valerian. The yellow flower in the distance we're just coming up to now is yellow loosestrife. This is a lovely flower. Some more Red Valerian here. This is brilliant for the hummingbird hawk moth. We've seen plenty get attracted to that plant. This is our lovely dragonfly perch, which, if any of you guys know Joel Ashton, he gave us the idea about this, and it definitely works. So many thanks to Joel Ashton from Wild Your Garden. Another look at the lovely oxeye daisy flowers, as I soon will be going over and going to seed. And as we mentioned about the rain, it's starting back up again. So it might be time to pop back inside for a cuppa. What do you think, guys? The purple flower just in front here is Verbena bonariensis. It's just starting to flower. This is a lovely tall perennial plant. A lot of the tadpoles are morphed into baby froglets and toadlets now. So you'll see quite a few hopping around the garden, especially on rainy days. It brings them out. And also, if I look closely enough around the edges of the pond, moving a few plants about, you can spot some baby toads or baby froglets too. If you listen closely enough, you can hear the thunder starting from the storm. If you remember the red campion plant, these are the seed heads for the red campion plant, which at the end of the year I normally collect and just spread them around the garden, and you have plenty more coming back the following years. This plant here is the red campion in flower. So this is what it looks like. Obviously it's going over a bit now. It flowers a lot better than that when it first starts to flower. And these are the seed heads. So if you ever have any flowers and you don't know what the seed head looks like, that's what they look like for the red campion plant. But it's going over now, the red campion plant. It does flower a lot better than this. If you watch my previous videos, you will see the red campion plant flowering at its best. So after this video, guys, if you have a good search around at all my other videos, you will see the red campion flowering really lovely in springtime, which is brilliant to see. Here's the lovely yellow loose stripe plant again, which is perfect. Lovely for the bees, butterflies. It attracts many things, and I think it just stands out and looks lovely, to be honest. If you noticed around the garden how I've got all my plants organised, this is perfect because I've got them in between logs and other things, and all the amphibians can hide under there too. This plant here is the catmint plant, which is lovely. This also attracts loads of bees as well. Obviously we've got plenty of Red Valerian, which is brilliant for the hummingbird, moth and butterflies and bees too. The lily plants in my little narrow pond are coming up nicely, so hopefully some nice flowers from the lily plants there. And the oxeye daisy flowers are looking lovely, but as you can see, just starting to go over a bit now. So it sounds like a thunderstorm is starting to come to the wildflower pond today. So it might be time to get inside for a quick cuppa while it blows over. So the temperature outside is 20 degrees and we've got a severe weather warning for thunderstorms today. And as you can see, the rain's coming down nice and heavy now, and unfortunately I'm starting to get a bit wet. That thunder sounds pretty close, so it might be time or a good idea to get inside out of this. On a positive note as well, I probably won't have to water my plants for a good few days now, so this has saved me a job. One good thing with this weather, the amphibians will certainly be loving this. Some might be tucked up in the hibernaculum here. In previous videos we show you how we built the hibernaculum. We created the gaps inside the sandstone so they can crawl in and hibernate there over winter. So if you haven't seen part 1, search for part 1 after this video and it will show you how we built our hibernaculum here and how we created all the gaps and how we filled it up with topsoil and other materials to create the perfect hibernaculum. Take a good look at the wildflowers around the pond because the flowers will soon be dying off and going to seed. But it's really beautiful at this time of the year when the wildflowers start to come out and flower like this around the pond, attracting all the insects to the pond, all the bees to the pond and all the butterflies to the pond. It's really beautiful to look at. It's the 21st of June 2023 and here we have some beautiful poppies that we self-seeded around the garden, and the bumblebees love these. Just have a look how they carry on with the poppies. It's the 22nd of June 2023. Today is a lovely warm day as it's summertime, and I just want to show you around the edges of the pond there's quite a few frogs and toads knocking about the edge of the pond. The logs are working perfect because the frogs and toads can get underneath the logs and hide. Obviously with plenty of plants around the edges of the pond, this also protects them as well. So it just gives them a chance to not get predated on as they come out of the water for the first time. Obviously, because they're that small, they will drop down the gaps into the hibernaculum, which will be perfect. But quite a few along around the edges of the pond where the plants are to feed on baby insects, like this little baby frog or toadlet here. As you can see, I'm moving my hands about around the flowers, and this normally tends to get them moving and pop out, so I can show you guys on here that we've got quite a few baby froglets and toadlets around the edges of the pond now that's coming out of the water from all those tadpoles we had earlier on in the year. Another tip, guys, sometimes I chuck a few bananas around the edges of the pond. This attracts fruit flies as well, which is a great food source for the baby frogs. Springtails are a brilliant food source as well, which you'll find them a lot around the edges of the pond near damp areas. This is another main reason as well with me growing plants around the edges of the pond. It does help protect the baby froglets or baby toadlets or baby newts that come out of the pond for the first time, as there will be plenty of things that will predate them, so it protects them and they can hide in between the plants and still get some nice sunshine, as a lot of amphibians like the sun and they need the sun in order to grow. Aphids and green flies are a brilliant food source for the young frogs and toads. Plants also attract these too. Looking closely at the edge of the pond, some of my wildflower seeds are starting to grow now, which is brilliant. If you look closely enough, you can see another baby froglet or toadlet hopping away. It's a bit hard to see because they're so tiny, which it exactly is, but we know we've got plenty of froglets and toadlets around the edge of the pond, as we saw plenty of frog tadpoles and plenty of toad tadpoles in our pond, as well as plenty of baby new Fs as well. This one here is a young toadlet, a baby toadlet. And a spider has come along to join him as well. So if you're unsure which are toadlets or froglets, toadlets will walk more like the adults do, and froglets will hop more. So if you see them more hopping, then obviously they're more likely to be froglets, and if you see them walking, they're more likely to be toadlets. Thanks for watching part 32, everyone. Now, if you haven't seen how we built this wildlife pond, search for part 1 in our video section or at the end of this video, and you can follow our playlist where it shows you the first ever time we built this pond, and it's built in hibernaculum, so you can see how we planted all the pond and how it's developed over the years. Here's some close-up pictures of a baby froglet that we saw around the edge of the pond today. It's looking nicely on the logs that we put around the edges of the pond. And here's a close-up view. Hopefully it'll get down into the plants so it can't be predated on. And this is one of our baby toads around the edges of the pond. Thanks for watching. Please give us a like and comment on all our videos, and don't forget to subscribe to see more amazing content like this by UK Amphibians and all things wildlife today.